Leaving a narcissist in total silence is never an easy choice. You spent months or years enduring endless emotional games, hoping that things would eventually change for the better. When you finally packed your boundaries and walked away, a heavy cloud of guilt probably followed you. You wondered if disappearing was too harsh, or if you were somehow being cruel by completely cutting off all contact without giving an explanation. The truth is, your sudden disappearance was the only logical response to a situation designed to destroy your peace. You did not abandon them out of spite or malice. You simply stopped allowing yourself to be emotionally drained by someone who used your empathy against you. Choosing to go silent was not an act of emotional coldness, but your ultimate act of self-preservation and the first real step toward claiming back your life. When you vanish from a narcissist's world, something very specific and intense happens inside their mind. They do not process your departure the way a healthy person would. In this video, you will explore the 6 psychological shifts a narcissist experiences when you go silent. You will finally understand how your disappearance breaks their reality, strips away their power, and proves that walking away was your greatest victory. If you are ready to reclaim your inner strength and find real clarity today, please take a quick moment to give this video a like. Liking this video helps reach and support others who are going through the exact same struggle, reminding them that they are not alone. Be sure to hit that subscribe button as well, so you never miss an insightful guide on your healing journey. Sudden energy withdrawal. Think about how a heavy coffee drinker feels when they suddenly stop drinking caffeine completely without any warning. Their body instantly goes into a physical state of severe shock, agitation, and extreme restlessness because their system expects that daily input to function normally. A narcissist experiences that exact same, intense, uncomfortable crash the moment you go completely silent. They depend heavily on your emotional reactions every single day, just to keep their fragile mind balanced and calm. They do not view your absence as a normal heartbreak or a sad end to a relationship. Instead, they view it as a sudden loss of a resource they felt entitled to keep forever. You were their reliable source of comfort, validation, and emotional stability. When you vanish without giving them a chance to prepare, that entire supply line gets cut off in an instant. They feel robbed of something they believed belonged strictly to them. This sudden drop in emotional input forces them into an immediate state of internal panic. They start pacing around, checking their phone every few minutes, and feeling a hollow, uncomfortable void right inside their chest. It is a raw, physical sense of frustration because their brain is craving the emotional high and attention you used to provide. They feel a deep urge to get that attention back, regardless of whether it comes from love or anger. They suddenly realize they have to handle their own stress without using you as an emotional punching bag. For years, they dumped their negative feelings and anxieties onto you whenever they needed to feel better about themselves. Now that you are completely gone, all that toxic energy stays trapped inside their own system with nowhere to go. They are forced to carry their own emotional garbage for the first time in a very long time. They try to distract themselves with easy activities, but the uncomfortable restlessness inside them does not go away easily. They feel deeply ungrounded and anxious because their primary source of daily reassurance is completely missing from their routine. They are forced to walk around with an intense, unfulfilled craving that keeps them constantly on edge and irritated with everyone around them. They cannot find peace because their quick fix is gone. This internal chaos is not caused by missing you as a genuine human being with feelings. It is strictly the selfish panic of a consumer whose free, unlimited service was suddenly canceled without notice. They feel cheated, angry, and deeply uncomfortable in their own skin, simply because you decided to stop feeding their appetite. Their mind operates on ownership and utility, so losing your energy feels like a direct theft of their personal property. Eventually, this physical discomfort and anxiety drives them to act out in highly unpredictable ways. They might reach out to old acquaintances, spam random people with messages, or scroll endlessly on social media just to find a quick, temporary replacement. They simply cannot stand being alone with that empty, craving feeling for too long. Their obsession with finding new attention proves just how deeply dependent they were on the energy you used to give them. The feeling of being figured out and stripped of their script. Every manipulator relies on a specific set of predictable rules to keep you confused, guilty, and cooperative. They say something offensive, wait for you to defend yourself passionately, and then twist your words around to make you apologize for reacting. They have practiced this exact routine so many times that they already know your lines before you even open your mouth. They feel completely safe because they believe they own the narrative. When you pack up your things and disappear, you throw their entire manipulation playbook directly into the trash can. You step completely out of the scene, leaving them standing on an empty stage with no audience to manipulate. They prepare their next dramatic move, but there is no one left around to receive it or react to it. Their entire performance falls flat because the other actor simply walked away from the show forever. This creates a deep sense of disorientation and intense embarrassment inside their delusional mind. They realize that their usual go-to tricks, like guilt-tripping, playing the helpless victim, or making silent threats, no longer produce any visible result. Their carefully planned emotional traps become totally useless because you refused to step inside them. They are left holding an arsenal of weapons that cannot hit a target that is no longer there. They start asking themselves if you finally figured out what they were doing to you the whole time. The terrifying thought that you saw right through their games makes them feel exposed, weak, and extremely foolish. They realize that their mask failed to trick you in the end, which hits their fragile pride harder than anything else. They hate the idea that you might be smarter than they previously assumed. Instead of feeling powerful and in control, they feel totally disarmed and out of practical options. They quickly realize they cannot control or influence someone who refuses to communicate with them under any circumstances. Every single manipulation technique they spent years perfecting depends entirely on your willingness to participate, and your complete silence cancels that participation instantly. You effectively strip them of their ability to play mind games with you ever again. This realization strips away their inflated confidence because they realize they lost their mental hold on your life. They are left holding empty threats and fake promises that carry zero weight in your real world. They realize you stopped playing by their unfair rules, which leaves them feeling remarkably small, useless, and completely defeated. They realize that their authority over your emotions was nothing more than an illusion you decided to break. The ineffectiveness of old tactics. When a narcissist notices that you are genuinely gone for good, their immediate reflex is to double down on their old tricks. They might send a super-friendly text message as if nothing bad ever happened between you two. Alternatively, they might post a subtle, passive-aggressive quote online aimed directly at you. They fully expect these small tests to pull you back into an exhausting argument or a lengthy explanation. When those small attempts receive absolutely zero response from your end, a massive wave of deep frustration sets in. They decide to try much harder by using bigger, more extreme emotional triggers to shock you into replying. They might try to make you jealous, post fake happy pictures with new people, or pretend they are suddenly going through a massive health or personal crisis just to get a reaction. When those dramatic moves also hit an absolute wall of total silence, their frustration turns into pure, unadulterated irritation. In their mind, these specific tactics worked like a charm every single time in the past, without fail. Watching their favorite emotional weapons fail completely creates a bitter sense of helplessness inside them. They cannot process the fact that their usual power over your feelings has completely dried up. They feel like a frustrated driver repeatedly pulling the starter cord on a broken lawnmower engine. The engine simply refuses to turn over, no matter how much force or anger they apply to the cord. Every ignored text message, unreturned phone call, and blocked account proves that their ability to affect your mood is completely broken beyond repair. Their tools have lost all their effectiveness in your life. This complete lack of results makes them feel deeply ineffective, embarrassed, and remarkably weak inside. They realize that their harsh insults no longer hurt your feelings, and their fake kindness no longer deceives your mind. Their words have lost all their sharp teeth, leaving them feeling completely powerless in real time. They are forced to witness the total failure of their influence right before their own eyes. They hate feeling useless and powerless more than almost anything else in the entire world. Realizing that they can no longer get a passionate rise out of you makes them feel extremely small and insignificant. They are forced to accept the painful reality that their presence no longer commands your attention, your time, or your energy. They have become completely powerless to move you in any direction. The threat of your awakening. As quiet days slowly turn into weeks, the narcissist's initial annoyance shifts into a much deeper, more terrifying fear. They begin to understand that your absence is not just a brief cooling off period after a bad fight. They realize that you have experienced a permanent psychological shift regarding who they really are behind their fake persona. You are no longer the confused person you used to be. What scares them most is not simply the physical distance between you and them in the real world. What truly terrifies them to their core is the exact reason behind that distance. Your brand new level of personal awareness. They realize you finally connected all the dots, saw right through their chronic lies, and recognized their pattern of selfish, abusive behavior for what it truly was. They know very well that once a person sees through manipulation clearly, they can never be tricked by those same games ever again. The idea of you standing in full clarity, completely unbothered by their false promises, feels like a massive threat to their ego. They realize that their authority over your thoughts and decisions has been permanently destroyed beyond repair. You have officially become untamable. They worry immensely about what your new perspective means for their carefully constructed public image as well. They wonder with panic if you are explaining their real behavior to mutual friends, family members, or potential new partners. The thought of your clarity and truth spreading to other people makes them feel deeply unsafe, exposed, and vulnerable to public judgment. They fear being seen for who they really are. Your emotional maturity and newfound self-respect act like a bright spotlight, shining directly on their worst character flaws. They used to rely on your constant self-doubt to keep you confused, obedient, and easy to manage. Now that your mind is sharp, clear, and grounded in reality, they know they can never trick you into doubting your own sanity or memory ever again. Their mind games are completely over. This heavy realization forces them to accept that you completely outgrew their toxic, draining environment. You made a conscious choice to prioritize your own mental peace over their endless drama, and that brave choice proves your incredible personal strength. They feel threatened because you stepped up into a higher level of maturity and self-worth that they can never hope to reach in their lifetime. The feeling of slowly dying in obscurity. Many people mistakenly assume that narcissists hate being disliked or argued with, but that is actually not true at all. They can easily handle your intense anger or your deep resentment because those strong emotions still require your precious time, thought, and energy. What genuinely destroys their ego from the inside out is being completely forgotten and treated like an absolute stranger who does not matter. When you disappear completely and focus all your energy on your own life, you send a crystal clear message that they are irrelevant. You stop checking their social media pages, stop asking mutual friends about them, and stop bringing up their name in conversations. This complete lack of attention creates a crushing feeling of total insignificance and emptiness inside their needy mind. They cannot handle being ignored. In clinical terms, this devastating experience is known as narcissistic mortification, a deep, humiliating sense of being completely erased from existence. They feel like they are slowly fading away in total obscurity because no one is giving them the constant spotlight they desperately crave to feel alive. Your total indifference makes them feel completely invisible, worthless, and utterly unimportant in the grand scheme of things. They try hard to convince themselves that they are much better off without you, but the quiet silence proves otherwise every day. Every quiet day without a message from you reminds them that your life is moving forward smoothly and happily without their input. Realizing that they left no permanent mark on your overall happiness hurts their inflated pride more than any insult ever could. They realize with bitterness that all their dramatic behavior failed to leave a lasting, painful legacy in your mind. You simply closed that miserable book, put it away forever, and started a fresh new chapter without them in it. Being erased from your daily thoughts feels like an embarrassing defeat that they can never fix or undo. They are left with nothing to show for their efforts. The panic of facing their own reflection. During your entire time together, you acted as a protective emotional barrier between the narcissist and their own toxic personality. You constantly absorbed their angry outbursts, carried their heavy emotional baggage, and reassured them that they were wonderful people. You reflected back a clean, positive image of them that effectively hid their deep insecurities and flaws from the rest of the world. The moment you pack up your life and leave for good, that protective barrier vanishes completely from their existence. There is no longer anyone around to absorb their bad moods, take the blame for their mistakes, or constantly boost their fragile ego. All of their toxic energy and self-loathing has nowhere else to go except directly back onto themselves. They are forced to consume their own poison. Without you there to take the blame for their failures, they are trapped in a quiet room with their true nature. They are forced to look directly at their own emptiness, deep jealousy, and extreme self-loathing without any distractions. That forced self-reflection creates an intense feeling of internal panic, disgust, and terror that they simply cannot escape, no matter how hard they try. They spent their entire lives running away from their true, flawed selves by focusing all their energy on controlling other people around them. Now that you are gone, their primary distraction is missing, leaving them totally exposed to their own messy reality. They deeply hate what they see in themselves, but they have no one else left to project that toxicity onto. They are stuck with their true identity. This creates a suffocating environment inside their own head that feels almost impossible for them to endure for long periods. They try desperately to find quick distractions or new people, but the quiet silence always brings them right back to their own reflection. They are forced to realize that the real problem was never you. The toxicity was always coming from inside them. Walking away from a narcissist is one of the bravest things you will ever do, and your total disappearance is the ultimate proof of your strength. You did not ruin the relationship. You simply made a conscious decision to stop participating in your own emotional destruction. The panic, frustration, and emptiness they feel right now are consequences of their own actions, and they are not your burden to bear or fix. Your peace of mind must always be your highest priority. Your true value was never dependent on their ability to appreciate it. And your real healing journey begins the exact moment you stop looking back at someone who only knew how to break you down. Step into your freedom, trust your instincts, and always remember that your complete silence is the strongest victory you will ever achieve. Thank you so much for watching this video all the way to the end. If this message brought you clarity, validated your experiences, or gave you strength on your personal healing journey, please give this video a like and click that subscribe button to support the channel. Your support helps bring these crucial psychological insights to others who need them most. Stay strong, protect your energy, and keep moving forward.